G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radich Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the Sailing Podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer, and it's that time of the week where you get to hang out with some really cool sailors. But of course, I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP.
Hello, world. How is everyone today? Just sitting back here in my humble little house in Hamble, still working away.
Hello, world, and then humble.
Yeah, well, you know how it rolls.
Yeah. Cool.
You know how it rolls. All good.
Good, man. Let's bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Happy Easter, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Last weekend.
Yeah.
And just before we do start, I've got a little story. We got the wingdings out.
Oh, first
there
go.
you go.
Check this out, though.
Oh,
With Frank and Southerly
Oh,
over at Point Turton with one known friend.
Yep.
Friend of the show. And basically, it was probably 25. So we thought that'll get the big dogs up. No dramas. Easy.
yep.
Breeze kept going left and left and left, kept going further and further offshore.
Oh.
Within 38 seconds, their friend goes to change the strap of what the wings hooked on to one arm to the other. Let's go of it.
Oh, it's in Adelaide.
Gone.
It's got blown across the Gulf.
She's blown away.
Oh, no.
We just see it somersaulting, cartwheeling across the ocean.
Oh, no.
So said friend goes and jumps in the laser to try and chase it down. And because it's cranking within 38 seconds, rolls into windward, tips through. Got all these people on the beach. Do we need to get someone to help you guys? And then it's full scatter, full crew. People go to the beach. It was high tide, couldn't get onto the beach. It's blown into the sandhills. A whole bunch of different things. Couldn't find it anywhere. So if anyone sees a orange 5.2 Ensis swing around somewhere, deliver it back to Point Turton, please.
Wrapped around a tree somewhere.
Gold. Absolute gold. Well, there you go.
The funniest part is isn't there normally a sailor attached to one of these?
Well, normally, yeah, or their arm, one or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, so we had drones up. We had all sorts of shit going on trying to find this bloody thing. We think it could possibly be, in Port Augusta by now.
Yeah, wow.
Port Augusta, heading up through the desert.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe up in Alice Springs. You never know.
Maree, cruising through Maree.
There's an Opal Miner and Cooper Petey's just going, what the hell is this thing coming
Yeah,
past?
what's this thing? Dropped down from the earth. Anyway,
Yeah.
fun.
That's a good story,
good
guys.
day
Well
out.
done.
Yeah, that was a good one. So,
Love it.
anyway, onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
keep cracking away.
Yeah. Well, should we bring in our guest?
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Another legend of the sport. Very happy to have this guest join us on the show. Just coincidentally, following on from last week, this didn't spark this thought, but just coincidentally, this guy's also won a World Match Racing World Championship. So that gives you some impression. America's Cup skipper, sailed as multiple world champion, particularly in the Maxi class. My favourite item, though, commentator at Eurosport in cycling. Okay, so
there you go.
unfortunately for the rest of the world, this may turn into a cycling conversation with me, Bicey, and our guest. But let's welcome him to the show. Anyway, he's from he's a Danish boy, Jesper Radich. How are you, mate?
Hey guys, I'm really honored to be here. I mean, I was looking at the list of guests you had, and I feel humbled by it. Apart from this cycling commentator part, because I think GPT has made a little fool of you there, because we haven't done any bike bicycle commentary. It's just I do a bit of sailing on Eurosport, but there's no bicycle. Sorry.
I
Podcast
found
is
it.
off. Shut it down.
Yeah, you're out.
I'm happy to commentate though a bit because I love watching, especially Tour de France when we had the successful Danish Jonas Vingegaard, right? But he's getting his ass kicked lately here by Pogacar, right? So yeah.
I wonder where that came from, because I like to do my research on each of the guests. So I go hunting and I try and hunt deep. And then I saw this commentator, Eurosport Cycling, so I didn't verify it. I just go, "You beauty," and I wrote it down. So I wonder what you've obviously done some commentating though. I assume on Eurosport. Have you done anything, or is it just another Jesper?
Oh, it's absolutely right. So the deal is, I think for all, let's call us pro sailors, whatever we are, we're all trying to find, make a living in this business, which is a bit chaotic, and there's no, final or red line you can follow. So it's just been a little bit like mostly for winter time, some extra work, and then they are very generous for me in terms of giving me an opportunity to step in when I have time, and when I don't, they just take the backup guy. So I only do sailing. I did actually once do horseback riding, and the thing is, I did it in Danish, but I don't know a single of the technical vocabulary or language from that, and my wife happened to be
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Can I ask you if it was the International Hobby Horse World Championships, or was it proper horses?
Oh yeah.
It was actually proper living horses, and I got home and I got a bit of a beating for slaughtering that show completely.
Yeah.
Love it.
Jordan's a bit of a legend in submarine racing in the commentary.
Actually, I've done everything, right? But because I've been commentating for 30 years, and the two hardest ones, I did ocean swimming, which is they swim for 10 Ks, and you don't see anything. All you see is elbows, and you have to learn how someone holds their elbow up in the air to judge who it is. That's the one skill. And the other one I did was bloody speed skating on rollerblades, because we don't have ice here in Australia. And you think it's like a cycling race, I've done a lot of cycling, and but the speed skaters all just draft off each other so close that you've got a pack of 100, and they go zooming around on a 5K loop, and they all go past in about 2 seconds, and then you've got 4.9 kilometres of dead time while they're going back around the course before you get to see them again. It is so hard to commentate. But anyway, horseback riding I've never done, so I'm intrigued. Absolutely intrigued. I wouldn't know.
I should probably prepare it. I should have prepared a little bit for that one, but it came up at a short notice.
Short notice.
How did you go? I'm interested to know how it went, because you obviously don't know too much about horse riding. I don't know.
Not. You never know.
Or not. Yeah, well, I don't know. But how did you go? Because, you got to try and fill the time in.
Well, the thing is, when you get a show, there's basically either run like a live commentary, and or you have there's like a taped one with a manuscript, but then it comes in either French or English, and then I had to do the Danish voiceover, and I didn't really have a clue what as I said, the expressions were in Danish, so I was just saying running and jumping, and it has it's completely different words.
And now the horse is walking.
Exactly.
The horse is walking.
And I also said it was the heart was it was running fast or whatever, and it was so much off.
Oh wow!
Giddy up, horsey. Giddy up.
Giddy up. Whoa.
Whoa down,
whoa,
Nelly.
he says whoa. When I says whoa, I mean whoa.
Actually, what I found a little interesting there, Jesper, you mentioned the pro sailing piece, and I think every pro sailor says this. It's kind of, I'm kind of pro sailor. It's really a thing, though, right? This day and age, there's plenty of yachting going on. So you are a fully fledged pro sailor, let's face it.
I mean, absolutely. It's to be honest, it's been my income. It's how I support my family for the last I guess
Not sure if that's good for the tax man or not, but
getting close to 20 years by now, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, sure.
But it was never, I mean, back when I started sailing, there was no such thing, especially not in my end of the world. There was no pro sailors at all. There were a few Olympic guys who had some, some national support, and then I didn't even know if that they did other boats or got paid for it or whatever. It was never like, a possibility to go down that route. So I mean, I just did education while sailing on the side.
And what do you do from an education point of view whilst this was all going on? Do you always know you'd end up on the water?
I mean, the thing is, it all ran in parallel. I mean, I obviously, I sailed all my life, and did dinghies, opties, and Europe class, and successful in that. And then I just faced a little bit of a challenge because it's pretty hard to finance, the gear you need to be fighting at the top end. And to be honest, sailing is a speed game, right? I mean, if you don't have the speed, just forget about it. And that means you need the right gear and so on. And I just kind of hit a brick wall a little bit. Then suddenly match racing was up. This is like mid-90s, 95, I think. I actually had my first go ever at on the local match racing course, and I figured out that was a good game for me. So then I actually didn't look back. I just went straight into it. At the same time, I was planning to study physical education and then later coaching psychology at the university. So that's my let's say educational background.
It's interesting because, I mean, being Danish, there's a lot of things about, Denmark has got some, quite well-established yachting building companies where they're brands in the market. You've got some great sailors have come out of Denmark, and obviously it goes all the way up to the royal family, with old Freddie boy. Am I allowed to say it like that?
Well, given he's married to Maz.
Yeah. Massa. But when you meet him, he's such a lovely bloke. And so, there's that whole, is there a lot of tradition for sailing like we see from the outside looking in, like in Denmark? Like, I know you're a fridge for 9 months of the year, but those 3 months where it's warm enough to go outside. Is it a strong tradition? Like, yeah?
Well, I mean, just touching on the weather, as you know, Ross Vickers, I use him as a navigator on several projects, including this new XR41 project we're doing for XYard these days. Yeah. And I actually took him sailing in January up here in Denmark. And when he saw the amount of ice on deck and how we had to brush off the snow off the Code Zero, he was in tears.
Well, I'm sympathetic to him.
Yeah. But regarding sailing as as a widespread sport, I would say I think sailing is just being close to the water, using the water is just really as a part of the Danish culture. I mean, all the way back to Vikings and so on. I'm not really like I feel related in that way, but it's just part of the culture to be used. Everyone lives very close to the sea. I think you can't get any more than, I think it's 50, about 50 kilometers from any sea at any place in Denmark. So you're always within an hour of or less than the water. So and then I think sailing as a hobby, as doing it on the side is fairly popular. But at the same time, you mentioned that we have a strong industry. I would say, from my perspective, absolutely good, no doubt. But it's not very. It doesn't feel like it. Yeah. It has a close relation to the whole sailing scene. I don't see a lot of Danish sailors that like doing pro sailing and then they step into industry. For sure, there's a little bit of a mix, but it's very few people involved. I think we just have a lot of leisure sailing. That's it.
I've got to ask a question because I think you're based in Copenhagen at the moment. Is that right? Yep.
Yeah, just a bit north, half an hour north.
In Sweden. Yep.
Denmark.
What am I was saying.
You did. I thought, that's pretty good from the Kiwi.
I was trying to get to. I was trying to.
Was that a planned faux pas?
No. It was a complete. It's like 5 a.m. Complete mental shutdown. I apologise. I'm not going to take it out. I'll leave it in the edit because we don't edit.
It's funny.
If you're an idiot, you got to own up to being an idiot.
You want to do it, really offend the Danish?
Yeah.
Or the Swedish?
I know. That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah. You hit that one perfectly.
I was trying to get to that, because I remember being in a bar at 2 a.m. in Denmark once, but some bloke
48
thought
Copenhagen's deep.
some bloke thought I was Swedish, and it was nearly on. And I was trying to subtly get to that, and I'm going, he's living in Sweden now. But yeah, sorry. So I completely stuffed it up, mate. You can tell me to get stuffed as hard as you want. It's fine.
Well, I'm sure the Swedes will feel the same if you start calling them Danes. So it's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, fair enough.
You should hear what we call the Dutch. Woo!
All right. Okay, so remember when you first started sailing?
I do. Because my first birthday, 1 year birthday, was in my parents' boat.
Wow.
And it's not like I have a memory of it, but I mean, I saw the pictures. I grew up sailing with my parents. Not like a racing family at all. I was kind of my dad did a bit, but just extremely, low key, local. So I was the first one to kind of take it a little bit out of the local regional sailing.
Do you remember the boat?
When you went over towards Optimists and those sort of boats, and then was that supported obviously by the family, local club, local sailing?
I would say from, in that respect, I think we're quite fortunate in Denmark because the clubs we have, they're very much, they're driven a very, very strong volunteer culture we have. You actually have amazing opportunities to, with very little money, very little investment, you can actually go sailing at absolutely, top level. I think I never owned an Optimist and went all the way to the World Championship, for instance.
Wow.
Just using club gear. And so from that perspective it was, absolutely great.
So what makes the how does that happen? What do the clubs do differently there? If they can afford to own gear, and do you rent it for a season, or how does it work?
I mean, for sure you pay, some kind of, say a yearly fee as a sailor, whatever it's 200-300 euros or whatever. I mean, for a season, but then it's supported by grants, supported by local sponsorships, supported by fundraising events, this and that, and it's just they're just non-profit organizations, which I think actually these days is a bit of a challenge because everyone's got a very professional mindset, and how do you mix that mindset with volunteer work? I think the whole culture is definitely under pressure, but it still exists and it's still successful.
The reason we ask is because the whole purpose for Bar Karate to exist was to promote our sport, try and grow the sport. Like we love sailing and we want more people sailing. And so when we hear something different, it sparks an idea. And if a kid can go sailing without having to buy a boat, like as you said, all the way up to the Worlds, that's a pretty cool system. So, jealous, absolutely jealous.
Well, what we would do in Australia, Jesper, would run like a little sausage sizzle, and just to raise some money, and people come and buy that, and that can help fund the club. What do you guys do? Was it like Danish pastries, or just a little stand set up that all the people can come through?
You're actually touching on an aspect of my later on match race project that I'm partly proud of and partly is a bit sensitive, but still talking about the Optimist part. I mean, it's exactly as you said. It just runs by these. Whatever can make that club sustain itself financially, and we're talking super low budgets, right? I mean, I think these days there is an expectation to get decent level of trainers to have to be paid. But it's still just, student level, salaries, and it's absolutely just part time. Very few clubs has got, a decent list of employees. The rest, most of it is voluntary work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's the nature of the sport. But from what age did you sort of go, okay, I'm really into this sport, I want to be competitive? Do you remember that sort of transition from mucking around in boats to wanting to be better? Do you remember that phase?
Well, I started in the local club in Optimist, and I just made a mistake before. I did actually own one wooden Optimist, and that was my first boat, and a wooden mast and a wooden sprit. Everything was wooden except the sail.
Yeah.
And that I had a lot of fun in that, and I sailed around for one summer season, whatever. And then I was invited to the little bit bigger local club and sailing at the sea level, which is the lower level there. And then I actually ended up winning in this the wooden boat against the guys in the fiberglass boats. And then they basically asked me straight on the spot, "Do you want to? How about moving to our club?" Wow. And then I did the winter season there, and that club. I mean, you know how it is. You need to have the right inspiration. And what happened was that the best guy at the art club was an absolute amazing talent, and I think 3 years later he won the Optimist World Championships.
Right.
So he was obviously like a huge inspiration.
Yeah.
So I started Optimist actually a little bit late. I think I just did my first regatta when I was about 11 or 12, 11, 12. And then 3 years later I was at the World Championship. So it was a quick, let's say, jump straight, a very steep curve. But at the other hand, I just got really good inspiration from sailing, especially with this guy, and then the guys around him. They was just sailing at an awesome level, right? So
wow.
I had every evening I came home from a sailing session, I learned another 3%, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, sure.
Very lucky to be in that environment.
You mentioned going sailing, sailing in winter, like.
I was going to say something. Was it like actually on the ice?
How do you? What sort of outfit are you wearing as a kid? Like, given in Australia, at my age, when we'd go sailing, it didn't matter whether it was winter or summer. We'd have a pair of stubbies on, which are a really old-fashioned pair of shorts, no shoes, an old yellow life jacket, a rugby jumper, and then a big jumper over the top, and that was our winter kit. Like, I'm just trying to imagine what you guys like. Were you kitted out the same, or did you have something special?
I would say, one of the big investments was actually to have a dry suit. That actually worked, because otherwise it's literally dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Fall into 3-4 degrees of centigrade water is no fun, huh?
Yeah.
And I mean, we all tried it, and we all had like, getting the freeze and the cold. But I think when you get used to it, then anyone can actually do like a 2 hours training session, no matter how cold it is, as long as you got the intensity going. And then when you go through it and you manage to actually do the training session, get back in, you get warm again, your hands getting warmer, they hurt a bit, and then you feel like, I conquered something, right? I did something spectacular today. So there's a good, I think, it toughened you up a bit, but also it was good times. Yeah.
Not like us soft pricks from down under, I tell you.
How do you warm your hand?
Exactly.
Like, how cold are your hands? Like, the one advantage is you come in, right?
Cold beer, cold?
Holding your beer. You're not warming it up. You're cooling it down because your hands are so cold.
Exactly.
You don't need stubby coolers.
Exactly. Yeah, so later in life is like it has an added advantage, no?
Oh, you guys are hardy. You're tough human beings. I don't know how you do it. Yeah. So what was next after the Opties? What sort of got you fired up?
Well, obviously, I guess it was 1990. I made it to the Optimist Worlds, and I think I got 11th or something out of the 180 boats. So it was like, I never saw myself even 1 year before. I never saw myself getting to that level of sailing. So obviously, I felt like I had what do we do in life? We do things that we are successful doing, no?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, it was. I felt very successful in that aspect of my life, so I kept pushing down that route. And then the next natural boat in that area to go sailing in is the Europe class dinghy, which I was just a little bit on the small side for the small size weight wise, and I'm not a little bit on the short side also, but there was a really good fleet. I spent the next 2-3 seasons there, and I didn't. I did the Worlds. I mean, you just basically sign up for the Worlds, but I didn't reach the same level, I would say, as I did in the Optis. And then also, I'd say I got to the point where I just couldn't buy these 2,000-3,000 euro carbon rigs that was under heavy development that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like every season, there was a lot of gear. At that stage, there was a lot of money for me. So yeah, no chance. Or let's say, I didn't see it as a route that I wanted to pursue, and especially just trying out match race on the other side, which was just instant, straight in action fun. And also, I would say I got to a point where actually, sailing alone was it was fine, but I actually enjoyed sailing with more teams, with more guys on the boat and being part of the team.
Yeah. So match racing sort of came into it pretty early on. That was your thing, getting into match racing. Do you remember, was there a proper training program? Because there's a few little tricks to get going in match racing, things you got to learn. So how did you learn that? Did you have to learn it on the course, or did you have someone coaching you from day one?
Not from day one, probably from day 200.
Okay.
No, I mean, it took a little while because in my yacht there was no history of match racing, nothing. But we were just a bunch of guys sailing in 2 6-meter small keel boats, starting, racing as each other. And it was really, I found it it was just a really nice, the key points of match racing was, it's like you have to be aggressive, you have to be smart. You swap the boats between the races, so you don't have to bring have the best gear, and then it's really a proper team effort. I just found that really, I mean, I don't want to call it pure, but it was just it was just sailing, the essence of sailing, I thought, and I just found, I mean, obviously, as again, we were successful. I was successful doing it, so we kept fighting, and then. At that time, I just finished high school. By then, I moved to a local sports academy where I was kind of a student. It's like a private, what do you call it? Kind of a private education, public private education, where you can go for 6 months, kind of an intermezzo between if you want to keep going to studying or you want to work or whatever. So I spent 6 months there, which was focused on sports. You could choose 2 sports, and one was sailing for me, and second was skiing. And then after 6 months, they asked me if I wanted to stay as a teacher. So at 19 years old, suddenly, So at 19 years old, I was finding myself teaching keelboat sailing.
Professor Radich here.
Yeah, exactly.
Professor of sailing.
And at the same time, one of the guys that were, I mean, I was always the nipper in that coaching team of 8-10 guys, whatever, on the sailing department. And one of the guys was a French guy who had a strong background in match racing, and he saw that I was obviously a skilled helmsman, but didn't, in his opinion, probably didn't have a clue about match racing. So he said, "Okay, I have an idea. When we finish our normal lessons, you make a team, I make a team, and then we go race each other."
Oh wow, there you go.
And then for, I would say, 15-20 weeks, we just went 4 times a week. Every evening, out there, fight each other.
Wow.
Learn a lot, make a lot of mistakes, break the boats, fix them, rinse, repeat.
Wow.
And that was really my education in match racing.
Yeah. When you swapped boats with the other French helmsman, did you trip over all his cigarette butts that were in the bottom?
He actually liked smoking. That's absolutely right. He was into it. But that's
that's a very cool way. One of the things we say, on the show is that if you want to be a good sailor, go sailing. That's the thing, and that's basically at that age when you're a 19-year-old kid going and sailing and match racing, you get that sort of razor sharp responsiveness gets fired up pretty quickly. Did you have someone making the rule calls in a boat off the water, your race boats, or are you just calling rules on each other non-stop?
Quite a bit of shouting going on, especially involving a French guy.
Yeah.
But I think when I look at match racing, I think, as I remember it, and I haven't been on the courses for a while now, but as I remember it, it's very, it's a full on, it's a gladiator fight, right? You fight, you do your best, you might even shout at each other angrily, and this and that. Actually got a bit more aggressive in the later years, I thought, but I remember one thing I think is nice about the sport is that when you finish the race, the guys that you're fighting, there's a lot of respect between each other, among each other. How do you interpret the rules? Which moves were fine, which were not fine? Because in the end, we all push it. But I think, as I remember, there was really a lot of respect about the rules. Also, put your hand up when you did a mistake. I don't see the same issue as you've seen in other parts of sailing, where people are like, they just keep fighting for their right instead of they say what actually is the correct call here. But I think in match racing, as I remember it's always been a very, very fair played game.
Yeah, right.
And for sure, you fight for your opportunity. But when there's no umpires around, I always thought that whoever I raced, we actually did fair calls. If you're on the wrong, you're on the wrong. Because I think a key aspect also from training is if you keep pushing a certain way of sailing, a certain tactic, which in the end is not going to work out when there's an umpire, you learn nothing. No.
Yeah.
So I think
not to mention you maybe get a bit of a reputation, and that's a tough one.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, but anyway, so I think what I'm trying to say is that I always thought there was a lot of fairness, a lot of respect, especially among the top sailors, and probably my friend Xavier, the French Xavier Destron, who was my French tutor back then. He probably taught me that mindset also. So we played the game. We pushed, we broke the boats, but we always played fair.
Well, it's interesting because you had great success, obviously winning the world champs on the World Match Racing Tour, which there was some pretty substantial sailors there when you were racing. Like you were racing against all the America's Cup skippers effectively. You had the Holmbergs and you had Pete Gilmer. You had a bunch of very talented sailors. Do you remember, it must have been incredible just to be on the start line. Did you ever get phased, or you were so confident in those days?
Well, I have this whole, let's say, that journey. For me, I think our really entry onto the international scene. In 1998, there was a Youth European Championship, so below 23. And if you look at the starting list back then, you had basically had a lot of the guys you see acting even now, like Cameron Appleton, Sebastian Coll, Gavin Brady, James Spithill, Ian Williams. Sorry, guys like that. I was just thinking,
not hard to forget. He's only won a few regattas.
I had the Walker. It was not the Walker, Ian Williams. Ian and I, we had a lot of matches against each other. But that European Championship, when I look back at it, it was just an amazing lineup of guys.
Yeah. And
that was the first time got this taste of sailing on such a scene, right? Then in 99, 2000, we had our first invitation to participate in one of the World Tour regattas, and we got absolutely smacked. I'm sure we got last or second to last or whatever. But I think at the same time, we saw the guys that are absolutely at the top. What do they actually do?
Yeah, right.
And the next 2-3 seasons, we really worked on the details in all aspects of our game. Physically, mental preparation, financing, organizing our lives, because we're all studying while sailing, and then really, really fine-tuning everything to become successful on the match racing tour. And then I can't remember, it was 2001 or 2, suddenly we were I think in the semis in one of the regattas. And then 2002, we won Bermuda. And in 2003, we beat Spittle in the second to final regatta in Split. And basically, the winners of that race would most likely become the winner of the total tour, right? And then so we end up winning the tour back then. So it was quite a steep, progression into match racing, and especially fighting against these American Cup guys. It was, was intimidating, but at the same time, we just decided that we can do the same.
At that specific timing leads directly into the Cup, which has just moved from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the teams were in and out, which obviously on this whole point scoreboard was an advantage for us. But at the same time, at all the top regattas, there was one of these, at least 3 or 4 of these tough guys to fight, right? So we had our work cut out for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, wow. Awesome. But we spoke off air. We had Ian Williams on last week, but this is not a coincidence that you're here tonight. But one of the things he said was crew continuity. So, in other words, making sure he had a core group of people. Was that with like you as well? Did you manage to keep the same sort of crew together during your entire program?
To an extreme extent, I would say. I remember doing a statistics once where we did, I think we did 146 regattas in 7 seasons.
Jesus.
And I only had 1 crew change.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was quite amazing. We were, we probably had, there was actually, a few regattas where it was completely changed because my core crew couldn't do it. But I would say out of those 135 regattas were just the same core group of 5 guys. And then depending on, it was a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 person boat, you'd pick and choose, which is also actually was a bit of a challenge sometimes because everyone's keen to go. So how do you pick the right guy and so on, which it ended up being, let's say, a challenge. And I had to step up in kind of as a skipper role, but we played it very much as a team, sharing, all financing, all planning, everything. So it's really a team effort.
Yeah.
You'd have to say that would have had a major impact on the results. I mean, just knowing each other's moves on the boat, you would have had it would have been without thought, well, we're doing this now. Well,
I think match racing is very much centered about being able to react really quickly and intuitively, which means that you hardly have time there's no time for planning. And even the execution has to be, really second to second, no? And the stronger you get in that aspect, you just become a stronger team. And for sure, spending that much time together, we had excellent boat work. And I think another thing which we did really well, and I remember I noticed that Ian mentioned that also, match racing is really a chess game on different, several levels. First of all, no one has an advantage as you enter the start box. You have the same amount of options in front of you, but you can only respond to what he does. And the better you respond, you slowly start building that advantage. And no one's going to win a chess match in 3 moves, no. But down the route, 15, 20, you just build on that, strength. And I think that that perspective is exactly how I look at match racing. Also, you slowly just build your positioning, you build your game, and then you end up just taking. You only have to win by a meter in the end, but if you're confident in your moves, you can just do it more often than the other guy.
Manage the race.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other part, which I think he was absolutely right, is about boat speed. And I think we were always really good at squeezing a lot of boat speed out of all the different boats we sailed. Which in the end it leads to a little gain, a little advantage, which you then build on.
Yep. Yeah. Funnily enough, I watched a lot of match racing this week, just going back through some old tapes, and it really I picked up a few things. I was watching a few of Ian's races, and the accuracy, he's like 1% higher all the time, sort of thing, at the same speed. There's some things to watch. It's very interesting. Of course, this match racing led you on to some amazing adventures in this life that you've created and you've been able to fund your family with. You did the Cup and you've done all sorts of pro racing, all the one design sort of keel boats and Maxis and all the crazy stuff Bicey's doing at the moment. it must be sort of weird, like living that life. Has it been enjoyable for you, or has it been sort of hard work?
I have to say, I feel very fortunate to have this opportunity. I think I'm I love competition. I love sailing at a high level. I'm very inspired by all the technical aspects of sailing. I should probably have studied engineer because it's definitely it triggers me to be to be able to keep squeezing out better performance of boats and this and that. At the same time, also from my, let's say, my background for building teams and learning, how can you learn as quick as possible as a team going from A to B? We're at a certain level now. We want to go to a higher level, go to this regatta. There's going to be a fine regatta. There's some steps on that way, and that whole process of taking a team, I think it's really interesting, and that inspires me every time. At the same time, it's super exhausting because when we're out there, when we're out traveling, as you know, Nick, I mean, it's just hard work, isn't it? I mean, we spend so many hours. I mean, there's no free time for me when I'm traveling, right? So if I haven't been awake, we've been away 2-3 weeks. I mean, I probably worked 14, 16 hours a day. So you get home completely smashed. But, again, I feel fortunate with that, to having this sailing career.
Probably leads to the good point. Obviously, your past is very decorated. Your successes and all that sort of stuff. We've got a pretty big event coming up in the next couple of months, which is kind of why you're here. Red Bandit, the TP52. You're involved with that for the Admirals Cup. You want to touch on that a little bit because one Nick Bice, I believe, might be competing as well. I believe, is that right?
Oh, that's affirmative. And basically, I haven't told you guys yet, but leading into the Admirals Cup, I'm going to get every single other 52-footer out there, bring them on, and we're going to play a little game. The mental games are going to start. Yeah. No. I'll be lined up on the final alongside you, Jesper, on the start line for the Admirals Cup on the Red Bandit. You've been campaigning that pretty nicely now, leading into the Cup, the Admirals Cup, the newly formed, and with a pretty formidable team. Pretty exciting.
Yeah. So as you said, I think you mentioned, Brett. I've been on different boats, and I actually never sailed on the TPs, in the TP, not on the on the circuit or on any boat. But then last year I had the call to join this Red Bandit. It's basically like a sailing academy, they call it. But I mean, let's face it, it's a racing team, no? It's just a lot of young guys with a very strong, especially dinghy background. So a lot of them are talented sailors, but they have limited experiences sailing keelboats. So I was asked to join them as coach, strategist, and then tactician for some of the races, especially the let's say some of the longer races. And so that's my role, to help pushing them forward. And I would say I push and I learn just as much along the way, because I said I didn't sail a TV before, but I just love the boat. I mean, the TV is such an amazing design, right? I mean, the amount of performance you can squeeze out of that, all that, it's just a race boat. I really enjoy it. And at the same time,
sorry, I was going to say Red Bandit is the old Audi, so it's been around for a few years now. But I have to say that young Fab and the team at the base there, they've got the boat looking absolutely beautiful. It came out of the water today. I remember recording, what day is it today? Wednesday. And I've got to say, it looks absolutely wonderful. And I think it's credit to the whole team that it's in the condition it is. It's going to be a fun couple of months coming up.
Absolutely. So my role is actually mostly developing the team, but I can't keep my hands off the technical part also. So I told them I'm going to take on the whole the rig tuning and so on. So I sat down and studied that for this winter now. So we're running that project now, and but it's good fun. And I would say looking at the competition with Nick, as you probably see also on final. I mean, there's some very strong teams there, right? And I think it's going to be an amazing regatta. We are really happy to be part of the competition. If we can, be part of the top group at any stage, we're happy. But we're just happy to be there because this team is young, really young, and they have lots of years ahead of them.
I was literally just writing from a day job yesterday, doing a bit of research on the teams and who's going. And you look through the 52 fleet. I mean, you got Zen, which has been racing around Oz for a while. The Jolt 52, which just won the Easter Regatta. Django, the new Wally Rocket for Django, for the Yacht Club Costas Schmerda. Schmerda. Ran, Karkeek 52. You guys, the Red Bandit. Caro, super successful the last few years. Eno Noir, 45-footer. Final, and then you've got the Bo Jess team out of Hong Kong, Teasing Machine and Privateer. Like you look at the top, like in the upper rating band, that's a hell of a fleet from an IRC point of view. Like everyone will know who those boats are.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I mean, especially me, I'm one of the new kids on the block on the TPs. Who's the favorite in your book?
I think, from a rating point of view, well, and what we just saw over the weekend at the Easter Regatta, the Jolt sailed extremely well up against Caro. They had a pretty nice, I think, 4 firsts and 2 seconds. So as far as the lead in, that especially against Caro, which we know has been sailed super well. And then you've got the Black Pearl and the Teasing Machine at the upper end of the rating band as kind of 54, 55 footers. So that'll be interesting. And then the courses are going to be like the Windward Lord stuff, the traditional, let's call it a Super Series TP. It's going to go super well. But the minute you get offshore and start getting the bow down, you might see boats even like the final starting to put the legs on. So we'll see.
Just a tip.
I didn't hear you mention the Red Bandit.
Yeah.
No, the Red Bandit was definitely there.
He started the psychological games. He started the games. He's going for you, but.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to back to my bicycle commentary now.
Yeah. Well, just a tip, boys. Listen to this whole conversation with Jesper. I wouldn't go too hard on the psych with him. He's got his psychological stuff worked out and how to motivate people. I think he's pretty safe. He's not fragile in that perspective.
In that space.
Yeah. One of the other cool things you're doing, which I'm really interested in, because as part of my research, I've been watching a bit of video on it now. You're doing this partnership with X Yachts, and you've got that new XR41, which is a pretty cool looking boat. That you're involved with that, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened, think about roughly a year ago, I got asked to join, no, it's a bit more actually, 1.5 years ago. I was asked to join like an advisory board on this new XR41 project, which is, I mean, X-Yacht obviously in our part of the world is it's a very respected boat, well built, but it's not like top-end racers. And actually lately all their boats, all their design has been really, really cruisy, which they know that's the where their market is. But now they had this inspiration to build another more racy boat. And then they basically got a group of good ORC designers together, came up with this concept, which is they ran it fairly advanced, I would say, doing a lot of AI models running. I mean, I'm going to say 1,000 hulls against each other. I think it was up there. So a lot of hull shapes were basically fighting each other out on race courses virtually. And then they came up with this where we are now. Then I was asked to be part of the advisory group advisory board to give some feedback on different aspects on board. And now after a few months, basically the CEO, he asked me, we're looking to hire a kind of a sports manager for a racing team. Would you would you be keen to do it? And can you come up with a budget and so on? And then after a few forths and backs, pushing each direction, we came to a solution, and now we've been working with this sports group for the last 4 months, which is basically a mix of that's two, three pro sailors, and then a bunch of younger talents from Denmark. So we have a core group of about 15 sailors, which we've been doing about 20 days of full on practice here the last 3 months. And we actually got our first regatta coming up next week. So very exciting.
The ultimate goal is the ORC Worlds, I think. Is that correct?
Yes. So we have a lead up now with the one regatta next week. Then we have the Kielerwoche late June, and then the Worlds in August in Lithuania. Sorry, in Estonia.
Estonia.
Yes, exactly.
It's a pretty cool looking boat. Like it, as you said, it looks pretty glamour, but then it's got that whole modular furniture that comes in and out. So you've got that both. It can be a racing boat, stripped out racing boat, or a cruising boat. It's a lot of thought's gone into it, I reckon. It does look a bit like a blown up X2, BP's little flash toy. So, it's got a few similarities there. But it looks cool.
I think it's just modern.
I know.
Modern shapes. I think they're all very similar.
I know. I wasn't going to say that. I was just looking at it. There's a lot of, obviously, the rules being worked out. So it's, but it looks cool. So, yeah, well done.
I mean, it's great to see an X-boat back in that racing set. Like the early 2000s, X-yachts were everywhere, right? You'd say.
Oh.
And to see a X-yacht back on the, let's call it the cruiser racer scene, but with that more of the racer edge, it's super cool.
I think I had 2 seasons on the old IMX 40 up in Sydney, and that was a big push.
Just for speaking of cool boats and stuff.
Just to comment quickly. So I think the ORC scene is by far the strongest, especially in Scandinavia, Northern Europe.
It's huge in Europe.
Yeah.
And which is great. I think as a sailor, for sure, there's something funny with the rules, the way that the only, let's say, high performance planning boat that are actually successful in ORC so far has been the TP. And the XR41 is not like a light displacement racer. It's a displacement boat. It sits in the water. It can go planing, and that's actually one of the, let's say, the key features of this boat, that it does have planing capabilities. But it just seems that the rule in that size of boat it penalizes too hard if you go too racing. So So it is a cruiser racer, but I mean, it has some fun aspects, and we touched nearly 20 knots in flat water with it. So it does have legs for sure.
Ah, cool. That opens up the question. We're sort of coming into our last couple of minutes here, but do you have, like, of all your history, do you have a favourite boat and a favourite regatta? Like, is there anything where you've just gone, that's my favourite memory, sailing there or sailing on that boat?
Well, I mean, obviously, my passion is, I have a huge passion for match racing, and a lot of the regattas I did there, I mean, doing Bermuda is, it's historic regatta. To be on the starting line there, I mean, I raced sitting on against Ben Ainsley in the final there is, it's a lifetime memory for me.
Absolutely.
I always enjoy doing the Maxis in Sardinia. I did that many times by now. I think it's amazing. It's one of the best sailing, amphitheaters you can find. Amazing waters, always a good lineup. I think the Med is very attractive to be racing in. There's a lot of really cool spots. So it'll be hard to point out a single one, but I think a lot of venues have some really unique aspects that, like for instance, you go to Lisbon on a breezy day, westerlies, 20-25 knots, big waves, 30 degrees of temperature. I mean, does it get any better? It's another great scene.
Yeah. Any boats that jump out or you?
Well, I just I declared my love to the TP. I think it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing design. The amount of performance you can get out of this really well thought out package by now. The boats are just, this is made to sail. I mean, I only sailed it for one season now, and I really enjoy it. And then I like dynamic boats. So in my match racing, let's say career, when it was still active. It was I always enjoyed sailing like very dynamic boats. I only sailed the Far East 28 once, but I like that concept of boats that have planing capabilities, where you can really make a difference as a team because you can roll it actively. You can really make your teamwork make a difference. So boats that has a lot of speed potential and really reward you as a sailor is something I find that attractive.
Yeah, you must have developed a lot of sailing skills over the life. And I mean, one of the things I know, there's a little project where you've tried to share with people sailing skills, all the different skills you had, which is a pretty cool little thing. You want to tell us about that?
Well, absolutely, and thanks for asking. It's it was a bit of a COVID project that came up, sitting at home, wanting to go out, and I always had quite a few requests to go, have a speech in one yacht club and the other. And then I thought, it's really hard to scale because I have to be present now. So why not take this Netflix moment where suddenly you can actually stream at full HD quality, everything all over the world, wireless, whatever. We couldn't do that 10 years ago. No chance at all. But not suddenly, it's absolutely second nature for us to be streaming like now, and we don't even think about it. So I just thought that all these presentations, questions I had about different aspects of a race, why not put it into a program? So I put this Sailing Skills website together with a partner, and then we made 7 chapters, which all have a lot of sub-chapters about all the aspects of a normal race, like starting, strategy, tactics, preparation, boat handling in the pre-start, and then all the way through the race course rules, trimming, rig tuning, sail shapes, this and that. So, yep. And
have their traditional port starboard role, because BP might have some input.
I was just thinking there's a few key Aussie things that you've left out, like after
banter, maximum banter against your competitors.
Yeah. But it sounds
that would be a really cool. That'd be a really cool chapter. So let's add to the sailing skills story and put banter in there. That'd be good.
Banter between.
Well, I can share, just within this group, I can share that I'm really bad at marketing, so I'm looking for someone to help me to market the product.
Oh, mate, we've been doing this.
It's pretty good.
We've been doing this show for 6 months, and we still can't even open Instagram. So
6 months,
6 years, sorry,
6 months.
Jesus, it's a long 6 months.
No, it's cool, man. Like it seems like a fun life that you've had, and it's some great success and some great adventures, and they'll continue. And I'm sympathetic to your cause, bud, because as you said, you're going to the Admiral's Cup, you'll be racing against Bicey, so you have to spend time talking to him. So I'm very sympathetic. You don't just have
might check out where the boats are on the dock. Actually, super interesting.
Just are you familiar with the term rotor? Have you ever heard that term?
Rotor?
Rotor.
No. Sorry, okay. No.
So rotor is we'll have one more beer before hitting the road. That's an Australian way of saying it.
Okay, got it.
And I've never...
Just one more. Just one more.
I've never had a session with Bicey where I haven't heard him say rotor 20 times. He just goes...
Oh, no, we've changed it now. It's called one more, no more.
But just be warned.
He just had it's a long road home, is it?
Yeah.
It's a very long road home.
Mate, appreciate you so much for taking the time. And I know it's late for you. It's way early for us. So it's been challenging for us to get it together. But we appreciate you taking the time to chat and, wish you the best of luck. And we'll be happy to go for a yacht with you one day when we overlap. So it'll be good fun.
Well, thanks a lot for inviting. I was just thinking, on this last words. I think one thing I always thought about as a pro sailor and all the traveling we do, I think one thing I've always been very appreciative about is to able to make, let's say the challenge for a lot of us is to actually make it work on the family side, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of nodding faces in front of me here, and I think that's a challenge for us. And I've always been really fortunate to have a family that were into sports and could kind of appreciate that at the same time,
Hey?
It's a big compromise in all our lives, isn't it?
How classy
It
is
certainly is, my
that?
friend.
That's a classy move. I love it. When
See, all I do is just buy a new couch or something.
That's very nice. Jesper's family, obviously, as you're listening to this, he loves you. So that's very well
yeah.
done.
I'm running out of perfumes to buy a duty free. She's got every one of them.
I love it. Yeah, very cool. All right, mate.
No, awesome, mate. We'll see you up in Europe soon.
For a rodeo, how was it?
Yeah, we'll see you up there for a
Roda. What was it?
Roadie.
Oh, just be careful. Be careful, Jester. Be careful.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's one of. It could
It
be a
might be late in the
ploy.
bar. Yeah.
Yeah. We got some very important mass tune stuff to talk about. So
Exactly.
right.
Yeah, it's definitely 4 on the D1s and 3 off the D2s.
Oh no, definitely one new one right in the middle. That's right.
Oh, that one. Yeah, right. Okay. Hey, mate, thanks a lot for coming back to me and to us and having a chat. Been great. So we'll see you. We'll see you over the next couple of months.
Yeah. Thanks a lot it was a good time, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Cheers. You know what I love about this sport is the people you meet, and just when you're cruising around, you least expect it. I was obviously working in the container next door to Red Bandit, and I thought, oh, there's a person we could get on the show. Tried to catch him during the week that he was here over the Easter long weekend, but we were all so busy. But anyway, managed to get him on, so it was huge to have him on. Great legend of the sport, and it was a really good chat. Really good chat.
Super cool guy. It was good, yeah. Great chat. I mean, you love it. Like, it's a great sport, isn't it? We're sport rotten, you know. We all get to do these amazing things, and we get to meet amazing people. And I mean, he has his brain screwed on, that bloke. Like, he had all the psych worked out, you know. And you can see how good he would be in a coaching role. Like, I can see why he's getting all those gigs. It was really impressive.
It's not unlike Ian, you know, the same sort of philosophy and approach towards it. You know, it was interesting that the similarities, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the cycling commentary chat myself.
The Swedish cycling commentator from Copenhagen.
Well, admittedly, we can't say too much because it's not as though we do the hours and hours of research like your good self, Jordan Spencer.
I agree. It was,
but you might have missed a small detail.
Oh, I've got plenty.
Not regarding it, not to mention your geography.
Yeah. Oh,
it's Sweden, Denmark. I mean, all you Kiwis stuff it up all the time.
I'm a Papua New Guinean, mate. You shut up. She's. I had one. So apologies to anyone who offended in that one, but it was. I mean, other shows would edit it out, but you got to leave your mistakes in. You got to leave them in.
No edit.
You got to write it. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on to other news. But of course, as we do, I guess just remember that if you do want to load up and get sort of switched on with and be 100% fighting game, and we had a bit of a laugh about rotors. You can do rotors with Radix. Radix rotor.
A Radix rotor.
Radix rotor.
I like it.
Yeah. It's a fast, simple way to improve your daily nutrition. So while saving you time and effort, it's the perfect thing. So you could be doubling up. But yeah, if you want to, go on, BP.
Yeah, go on. No, I can't say it.
If you want to try a Radix rotor, just jump onto their website, Radix Nutrition, and use Bar Karate as your discount code. That way you get a discount from us, and we actually get a tiny little bit of income from it as well, but we give most of it to you guys. So, and speaking of giving money back, our sponsors for the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week is our friends at Vycobi. We give 100% of that. I remember I was listening to...
Great new board short.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before a few weeks ago, but go to the site, check it out. It's bloody good.
Yeah. It's super early in the week, so we won't have any listeners, so we'll just pass on that. But yeah, jump on the Vycobi. Of course, the UV tops that we've got, you can order them, the Bar Karate ones, off the Vycobi site. All the Aussies and Kiwis listening, it's getting cold now, so we've still got a few of our thick hoodies. Like if you want to be warm, you could survive a Danish winter session wearing one of our
Just
hoodies.
in your standalone Barkarati hoodie.
Standalone Barker, a pair of Speedos, budgie smugglers, and a hoodie, and you'd be good. You'd be gold. But yeah, just jump. You got to come to our website for that one. But yeah. All right.
It's hot time with Bice.
Another quiet week in yachting, boys.
Oh,
Yes. There's not much that's going on.
I mean, the Cup. Let's start there first. It's official. It came out late last week that there was rumours that Alinghi were going to be out. But it's now official. Alinghi are officially out of the Cup. And not without a bit of a spray back and forth between different press releases. And I believe the exact wording from Dolps was, given their lackluster performance in Barcelona. Speak of choosing sides. Ooh,
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was full ball. They did spend a bit of money on masks, so that was a good one for you, Bice. But the pressure from Alinghi, what is it around? It's around the nationality rule, I guess, isn't it?
Well, and I can be completely wrong here, and I may have picked it up in the wrong kind of context, but I did see there were negotiations going on about the protocol. A big challenge Alinghi have is the nationality rule, as you mentioned, and I believe they'd had to put into the protocol you're allowed 2 non-nationals to be sailing. So there were certain elements there that were requested from Alinghi that we're moving forward on. Again, this, when the protocol comes out, could be completely different, but that's what I was led to believe. I don't know. Is it just a timing thing? I mean, the timings weren't unknown, I guess. I don't know. Talk to me.
I've got
what do you pick up on
a conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this
Our full hats on.
Yeah, go on.
Vitelli going to sponsor Ainsley?
Right, well, yeah, basically, yeah.
There we go.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen, because they'll do, like, when the Cup, remember, what was it, 35th Cup or whatever, everything was in the 50s, or in the cats, the falling cats, right? And then everyone had to sign up to continue with that. And the New Zealanders didn't, because they were backed by Bertelli, and he wanted a monohull, right? Are we allowed to say this stuff on air?
Well, it's common knowledge.
Common knowledge, right? So there was that backing from the Italians into New Zealander, the New Zealand team, and with the constraint that, you know, it had to go to monohulls, right? So exactly that. The Swiss gunners back in Athena Racing, and then with the constraint that they changed the nationality rule, open it back up, so because Alinghi then can make some money from the property play that the America's Cup is.
The Bertarelli property play.
So that's my conspiracy theory for you, that they've gone, righto, stuff you, we'll go back in Athena Racing, and then they'll have an agreement where they become challenger of record, and that's it.
Wonder if there's a nationality rule on the sponsors' money.
No?
I'd say not.
No,
Definitely not.
I heard a rumour today. I heard a rumour today that someone said that someone knows someone who someone said.
Yeah.
They did lunch. They got back
that
to
Australia is making murmurings of coming.
100%. Yeah.
Now,
the winnings will be in for sure.
Zero chance.
You never know.
I heard a rumour today outside of Australia. So from a non-Australian.
Yeah.
Non-Australian.
Who's going to be providing the money?
Oh,
it's got to be the winnings. Got to be the winnings.
My mum, Jan will put a couple of bucks in.
Jan will chuck in. We could have a Barkarati AC fund.
Yeah.
Remember, my auntie Ray will make the sandwiches.
The old Giga Challenge should be rolled into an America's Cup thing.
Yeah, basically, that's basically what
who
BP's
knows?
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's interesting. I mean, there's other things going on, but we can't talk about those. Is that right? Are we allowed to say anything about anything?
What with? What else?
Other cup
Tell us.
stuff?
Yeah, in regards to what? Why do you do this to us?
I'm not saying it.
You know?
All right,
Yeah.
you're holding back. Holding back. The other thing I was interested in, boys, I saw the interview with Dolce about the departure of between Pete Burling and Team New Zealand.
Mm.
And what came of it was basically Dolce said he just picked up the phone call, had to make the call and said, you know, we've taken too long to get to this point. See you later.
See you later.
Was it a mutual parting of the sea? It didn't seem like it. Don't know.
So is it a negotiating technique?
Well,
it's pretty one way if it is.
Yeah, exactly. So
does that mean like so?
Basically, what I picked up from it, what Dolce was alluding to, fuck, he's been in the media this week, hasn't he? 2027, you need to be in New Zealand sailing full time for the Cup team.
Yep.
Which means basically you cannot be doing Sail GP.
Correct.
That was what
Yep.
My.
And we alluded to that as well.
Yep.
We suggested that's what the issue was, and I would be very surprised if something doesn't happen from Sail GP locking in Pete for that exact reason. But the question then becomes, so we know Nath is not doing Sail GP, so they've got a nice safe one there. All the other teams have got overlaps, but Nathan Outridge sitting there ready to go, so you've got a great skipper. Does that mean Glenn Ashby is going to be – he qualifies? Could Gash –
because he does – no, does that rule roll over from the last Cup? Because remember in 21 or whenever it was, is you – if you were working for a particular team, you could sail for that particular team. But because Glenn's missed one cycle, does that I wonder if that nationality rule still stands?
Yeah.
Well, not nationality.
And remember
eligibility rule.
His brilliant commentary job he was doing, and then the Kiwi, the lead commentator there made the tried to throw the commentator's curse out a couple of times. When he was talking up something, and Ashby came back.
Yeah. Don't you put the drumming on it?
That was probably the funniest moment in TV. But so maybe he's lost his New Zealand status because he took on that commentator. I don't know. But I just thought, Ashby could be up to play. He'd be.
I wonder in all of this, at the end of the day, in 12 months' time, we just go, this is just normal Cup bullshit. Not bullshit. This is just normal Cup shenanigans, and there's going to be 5 or 6 teams, and off we go.
I think it is. I think it is shenanigans, but I wouldn't be surprised if you do find out Alinghi does back in Ashby on the quiet with that sort of the nationality.
Team Australia.
Or Team Australia or whatever, but yeah, she's.
And then, but to add to this is now the location. I'm hearing Greece.
Yes,
no,
I did actually hear that.
Don't laugh.
I did hear that.
Saudi Arabia and one more. Was it maybe?
I only laugh about Greece is because there's always Greece. Every single major event, there's a person that runs around promoting Greece, and it's the same bloke for sure.
We've met him.
Yeah,
we've met him.
That's the only reason I laughed. No disrespect to Greece at all. But yeah.
All right, boys. We're now gonna just
talk to your mic. You're going to talk in your mic? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to look at my little run sheet over here.
Yeah.
And let's have a look at Hayer Olympic Week.
Oh.
Look, to tell you the honest truth, I've been trying to look through the results. It's a bit of a ball ache.
Well, there's still plenty of racing to go. What are we, day 3, I think. So
a few things I have picked up on, though, is I'm just looking in the NACRA 17.
Yep.
And you get in the columns of what there's the sale number, the sponsor or boat, and then the crew. But the Aussies, for Brett and Rhiannon, their boat is called B+R.
Yeah.
So they're pretty.
There you go.
They're pretty thoughtful. But the other one, the major one to mention, who you mentioned earlier, Jordan, is our mate Graham Morris.
Oh, from an Australian perspective, let's be completely biased, 100%.
100%. Has he been taken away the ultimate reverse curse from Baccarati?
He's
what, the life membership, the life reverse curse.
9 races,
9 wins,
7 wins.
Yeah,
No, 6
7 wins.
A 2, 2, and a 3 to add to that.
Yeah.
He's in a rich vein of form, as they say.
Oh, I love it.
Vein of
Love
form.
it. A rich vein of form. Yeah, no, he's going gangbusters. I mean, it's been it's super windy today. Like as we record, the Mistral hit hard today, and he got 4 wins. So he's enjoying the pies. He's enjoying
just
life.
Absolutely on fire, isn't
Yeah,
he? You've got to say that
we're
it's
a little biased.
But if the world isn't standing up and looking, I mean, come on. Anyway,
yeah, he's doing gangbusters.
we may be biased, but he's getting results. So it doesn't matter who it is. If he's getting results, we'll praise him.
Yeah, well,
So,
the other interesting thing with the NACRA 17 is again, it's Italians at the top of the tree. That they've got those boats worked out. The Italians and
the Italians love the NACRA 17.
And in the IQ4 women, it's all Israelis. Like if you look at the top 7, look at the top 7.
Correct. Top 7 is 5 Israeli, 2 Chinese.
Yeah, it's insane. So
wow.
They've got a great program there. So you know that they're going to be going gangbusters. I don't think every nation's turned up, but I do think it's great. I do want to point out though, the reverse curse does feature through this fleet, and I do want to mention Helena Scott, who's sitting there in first in the FX. She's sailing with Paris Henkin. Those two would know each other quite well, I'd suggest, seeing given what's going the family relationship there. So that is it's good to see them going. But Helena, lovely human being. Geez, I like talking to her. She's good fun. So makes me happy to see her doing well.
Yes.
So we'll be back with a full wrap up next week and what's happened there.
Yeah.
If we can find the results.
No, I've actually found it now.
I've got them.
Worked out the algorithm
on the SGS website, the Sailing Grand Slam website.
Oh,
so.
There you go.
Oh. All right, there's plenty of ways to get there, but it's on. So yeah, what else? What else do you want to touch on?
Well, what you want to touch on, the Brisbane to Gladstone? Talk us through it, Jordan Spencer. Last week, you made your way down there. You packed the cards, ready to go for the big start.
Talk about a bunch of rollerbladers going around a 5-kilometre track.
Yeah,
it was light wind. It was.
How did it all go, mate?
It was good. It was good. It was great fun. So we created the Triple M breakfast radio crew. We had Weet-Bix, the Senator, and the J-Dog as the commentators. So Grant Cooper, the great man, and then Lisa Demanen joined us, which was great, and then myself. And it went good. Really light winds, and it was light winds the whole way. Like as I said, the once every 20 years you get you don't get the big southeasters.
So it should be good for
another 19
What
years.
was it? We had 19 years up until last year.
Yeah,
last year was a shitter on the nose? Or the year before?
No, it was a light wind start, but then it come thumping in, I think. So they got.
And then this year was light winds.
Yeah, she was very light, but there was a good battle. It was almost like a Hobart finish with the Lion Honours in the monohull. Jaybird 3, the Ocean Crusaders, carrying the reverse curse against Speezy's team on Maritimo 52. So 2 older TP 52s The old Jaybird 3 is probably about a ton heavier. She's got all the batteries and stuff in there. It was a drifter, absolute drifter.
No, it was a ton heavier because of the lint bunnies they took and all the rum.
The chocolate rum bunnies. But yeah, they were, with a couple of mile to go, they were nose to nose, literally nose to nose. And Maritimo 52 got the line on us. But the boat that stood out for me was Black Diamond. I said on the commentary that's the boat I'd want to go north on. I thought it'd be a little sticky.
What is it?
It's kind of it's a Reichel Pew 42. It's sort of the GP 42 mould. It's that.
Oh yeah.
It looks a lot like one of those. It's not one of those, but she's a glamour little boat, and they put a lot of work into it. We had Lee Randall on that boat doing a lot of the prep work for it, so he's carrying the reverse curse on that boat, and they were on fire. That boat was just smoking. There was some great performances. So well sailed boats, but yeah. Brisbane to Gladstone, run and done. It's a good event. Very welcoming crew up in Gladstone. If you've never done it and you're thinking about doing it, do it, because especially if your boat goes quick downhill. I want to get next to into it, BP. I just desperately want to get next to do it. I reckon she'd go well.
Go on then.
Yeah, okay.
Get one. I'm sure Jack will be fine with it, mate.
Yeah. I'll make the pipe cots extra comfortable for you.
Extra long. Yeah. And with the mesh, you might have to cut out a bit more for the scone to fit in.
Yes. Yes, I'll have to go a bit wider.
We were doing Lisa and I were doing head-sides comparisons off air on the old, during commentary. We're looking at each other on camera. She's going, geez, you got a big head. So I did the whole comparison. But anyway, she's good. Good event. Great fun. Live stream. I think there was a bit of an issue on the tech side. I don't know if that was at our end or there was on KO when it didn't go out properly, but they've republished it. And then I think it dropped out for a tiny bit on the YouTube, but I wasn't. I was just chatting away. But it's all been
bit of idle chit chat. Yeah. It's a bit like the marital home, just chatting away, whether someone's listening or not. Who cares?
Oh, they had a. Yeah. I was gonna tell you a whole story, but it's good. It was good fun hanging out with Lisa as well. It was great to have her join the team.
And a good production. Well done.
Yeah.
To all involved.
Yeah.
Righto.
What else?
Pretty awesome.
What else? Well, it's getting late in the UK for you, BP.
Yep.
The sun's just come up here.
I just want to say that the Transat Paprac, which is the double-hander mixed, where they're racing across Transat, that's underway. It's been going for nearly 4 days now as we record. So it'll be, I don't know, 8-9 days in by the time we publish. But yeah, that's definitely racing across. So they're all bunched together, just off Portugal right now. BP. Oh, you're not there anymore. I was going to say if you're in your old place, you'd be able to see him.
Chuck your rock out. Yeah,
just stand on the balcony and offer some advice.
Yeah, but all cool.
Wouldn't go that way.
Yeah,
no, don't take me. Don't. No.
Love it.
Righto, lads.
So, boss, you're going to be in Europe by the time this goes to air. You'll be in Europe.
This will be being published while I'm in probably row 76, seat 76K down by the toilets.
Oh, nice seat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what number you're supposed to get. I'll keep it secret, the right number. But and BP, you'll be heading back the day after, so there'll be interlinked.
Oh, like ships through the night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bussy, how you going, mate?
And then I think the week after I'm in the US, so we'll be all over the place. But anyway, we're our carbon footprint just right up at the top of the tree. We're like Taylor Swift.
I'm all over it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, making the same sort of money too.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, lads. Good chat. Jesper, thanks for joining us, mate. Appreciate it.
Yep,
and
thanks, Jesper.
Yeah, good fun. Cheers at Barkarati if you want to get a message to us. Cheers at barkarati.com, I should say. Radix Nutrition, 10% discount on us. Use Barkarati.
Vycobi.
Via our friends at Vycobi, especially if you want the UV hoodies to go with your new board shorts.
Barkarati Sailors Lager. No,
that's cool. Have a good week, everyone. Thanks for everyone. Be
Righto,
safe.
cheers.
Enjoy your summer.
Yeah.